After a flurry of amazing demos by many of the humanoid bot vendors, people are starting to wonder, where is Tesla Bot and are they now behind in this race? One way to gauge this progress is to look at who Tesla is hiring. We reported a few weeks ago that Tesla has hired hundreds of jobs for the bots in both design and manufacturing, and that they recently had a job opening for a program manager whose role is to run pilots in the factories. But now it appears Tesla is hiring 5 more roles, including a technical writer to draft manuals and even engineers to develop 5G wireless capabilities for both Optimus and the vehicles. Let's dive deeper. I've got Hans Nelson joining us. He has his own YouTube channel called Hans C. Nelson. Thank you, Hans.
Thanks for having me, Herbert.
This is the bot, lots of movements. We've seen all these amazing demos. Everybody keeps saying these guys are ahead and Tesla's better for, catching up. But the only humanoid bot company that's actually, deep into manufacturing is Tesla. And we do know that Agility Digit, they're creating a factory that's going to be able to do 10,000 bots per year. They're building that in Oregon. But Tesla continues to hire. And if you look at the job openings, this is what's interesting. So we've got this, which is, we were already reported this a week ago. Optimus is ready for field trials in the factories. This job posting, execute pilot applications of humanoid robots in various manufacturing environments, cover multiple job sites, and may require frequent travel. So this is a job for somebody to be able to do pilots in multiple job sites. And so it's sounding like it's in a factory. Technical program manager for the Tesla Bot. So this was announced last week, but now there's more new jobs. Here's 3 of them. New noteworthy job postings that opened in the past 3 days. The Tesla Bot team is formalizing and scaling across cross-functional operations significantly, which includes in-house development of software tools. So one of the jobs is project manager to lead the development and optimization of in-house software tools for streamlining and scaling our robotic development and operational processes. This is just another thing that Tesla always does. They don't only just create the bots, which is the hardware, they'll create the software that they need to do to manage it. There's a project manager for symptoms to lead the creation of symptoms, which is anytime there's an issue. Tesla's in-house service application software ensures continuous monitoring and documentation of issues identified during service or manufacturing. Again, it's just that loop, right? That QA loop for repair and diagnostics. So again, they're already talking about improving manufacturing improvements, repair and diagnostics. And then this one's the big one, a technical writer. This is somebody who's going to create a manual, documentation, troubleshooting guides that meets the needs of our customers and service technicians. That's products, plural. He's been talking about products so many times here. So these are the job postings. What do you take of all these job postings, Hans?
Yeah, I mean, that just shows a level of the maturity of the Optimus program that really is beyond, I think, what a lot of the other people that are operating in this space are doing right now. One of the things that we've seen from Tesla is especially as they've gotten into insurance, they have also, taken a lot of feedback from whether they're doing the repair work on those vehicles or whether it's an outside shop, but even more so when they're doing the repair work, they say, hey, when we were in this accident, it caused problems A, B, C, D, and E. And if at the factory you would make these things a little bit differently, or if we managed our supply chain a little bit differently, or if we solved that problem over there a little bit differently, it would make this service work much more easy and in effect more efficient and cheaper overall. And so they're already incorporating that type of logic right now into building out the Optimus project even before they have scale manufacturing going on. So they want that whole feedback loop. They, obviously they're developing the software that's going to be running on Optimus, and they're developing the hardware that it's running on. That's, every bot company is going to be doing those 2 things. Then they're also going to be in-house developing all of the ways that they make all of that software and all of that hardware. That's going to be a little bit different. Figure AI is not necessarily going to be designing the manufacturing lines that produce the figure robot in the long term. And they're certainly not the ones that are developing the core software that they're getting from either NVIDIA or from OpenAI to help them solve a lot of their problems. And so they don't have that level of vertical integration even at that level. That's not even talking about, hey, now we're also going to be doing all this direct interface with either internal or external customers, and we're going to be incorporating all of that feedback back to the very first thing where we're improving the design quickly and efficiently. And so they're just setting up this entire flywheel, and this is something that takes intention, it takes planning, it takes experience, which Tesla has, in order to do all of this. And once you have all of that together, that's when you're able to start seeing rapid progress over time and an ability to really just out innovate and run away from your competition in the quality, the cost, and the capability of your system. And I think, we're at a good point right now to be talking about this specifically just because we're experiencing this with FSD. These are the types of systems that Tesla has been working on developing for years and years and years with FSD. And then all of a sudden here, over the last month and some change, we just feel like we're in this step change of progress and functionality, and everything is just happening so quickly. And that is the groundwork that Tesla's laying for their Optimus project as well, that this is going to take a while for all of this to play out. Obviously if they're just hiring for these positions now, it's going to be some time before all of those people, they get hired and they get into their positions and they get their systems set up, and the whole flywheel is running. But we are designing the flywheel, we're getting it put in place, and that if we let this process play out over the next 5 years, the way that we've let FSD play out over the last 5, that we are going to be in another position, more than likely, where Tesla is head and shoulders above the competition in their capability in the Optimus program.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I mean, why would they be hiring these positions if they haven't, if they're not ready for them? So yes, you're right. It's going to take 6 months to a year for them to get on board, but they're ready for them now. They're
Well,
writing. Mhm.
I would just say that I think that they're ready to begin manufacturing. Like all of these things are probably happening around the same time that we're
Yeah.
beginning to move into the next phase of ramping up manufacturing. And manufacturing is going to be a ramp. It's going to be something that happens over time. We're probably going to do like a pilot line, like we did for 4680 there in Lathrop. Um, and so we'll be producing way more bots than we have been before, but it's not necessarily the end state of the mass manufacture of millions and millions of Optimus robots, starting this year. Um, and so, you build up this whole flywheel and you get it working at the next level of scale, and then you reproduce that as you go up to the next one, and continue to incorporate your learnings. And so, yeah, I'm just incredibly excited to not only feel the progress of everything we've been working on up to this point starting to pay off, but then also seeing the company aggressively reinvesting and doing that exact same process with a whole new product
Yeah.
category, and just thinking about what that's going to lead us to again here. And people are just going to doubt, they're going to
Yeah. Yep.
complain, they're going to say it's not possible, and they're going to be wrong again, and it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. I mean, vertical integration is one of the strengths that Tesla has. They do it all, right? They don't just create the hardware, they're going to create the software, they're going to create the tracking system. They're going to do everything they need because of the flywheel that you're talking about. We've already seen it happen in FSD, we've seen it with the cars. And again, it's so hard for other companies to be able to replicate this. But, the thing about that, why this is interesting to me is that we said that they were going to start slow. They're going to create these bots, but I always felt that they were going to. There's enough, like because they're going to only make a few. Okay, so let's push back a little bit to what you said. Let's say they only make 1,000. Why would you sell this to customers? You need 1,000. Tesla themselves need 1,000 for each of their gigafactories, and then if they make another 1,000 or 5,000, they need those for Giga Mexico, but they need it for their suppliers. So for them to start talking about this as a user manual for products, it could still be the suppliers, but that's the thing that really struck me is that, okay, they're already needing somebody who's going to create user guides. And they referred to the word product several times. We're looking for a skilled service technical writer with a passion for robotics, strong background in technical communication to join our team. The service writer, technical writer, will be responsible for creating comprehensive and user-friendly documentation for robotic systems, including service manuals, troubleshooting guides, maintenance procedures, training materials. That the bot is closer to this hints. This is the writer. This is the article writer. Is closer to launch than ever before. Tesla posted a new job. We talked about this to field test Optimus at the gigafactories to drive the deployment of robots for trial applications. And then just to remind everybody, at the last earnings call just 3 months ago, Elon said that there could be some number of Optimus, he said, that's going to be shipped in next year. And so when he used the word ship, what does that mean? Does that not mean to customers? And Hint is on track to meet that. And he said this too, right? We are arguably, Elon said, Tesla is arguably the biggest robot maker in the world. We just have 4-wheeled robots. We have 5.5 robots. So Optimus, a humanoid robot with arms and legs, is by far the most sophisticated humanoid robot that's being developed anywhere in the world. I think we've got a good chance of shipping some number of Optimus units next year. Like I said, this is a brand new product. So a little pushback there, shipping products, technical writing. It's like, why do you need this if they're not going to create at least more than 1,000? It's hard to say, right? Like you said, I'm not ready to claim that they're going to make more than 1,000 next year. I'm just piecing.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I think, we've created in the tens now. The next order of magnitude to create is hundreds and then thousands. But we're talking about something that ultimately is going to scale to, multiple millions, tens, potentially even hundreds of millions. And, if you get deep enough into the future, obviously we're going to have billions and billions of robots. How many of those are going to be humanoids? How many of them are going to be Optimus made by Tesla? That's kind of a bigger question. But I could definitely see us moving into the multiple thousands, if not even low tens of thousands of Optimus bots in the not too distant future. And like you said, Tesla has so many use cases internal to the company that, people already use the language of internal customers versus external customers. I think that you're still going to be shipping to internal customers. You're still going to want good technical writing if you're shipping to internal customers as well. And so it could be that all of this is just internally focused, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. They can deploy these. It really depends on what that first step of volume production of the Optimus looks like. If we're talking about something in between 1,000 and 10,000 bots produced between now and the end of 2025, I'm thinking that almost all of that is going to be absorbed by Tesla's internal needs. If we're talking about producing more than 10,000 in the next 18 months, I think that you really do look at potentially selling these either to your suppliers or, starting to expand the use cases of the Optimus beyond just Tesla's own needs for manufacturing. And obviously over the long term, that is the arc that the company is going to go on. They're not going to be consuming millions of Optimus robots inside of the company of Tesla. And if they do, oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about how crazy of a company that is at that point in time. But I don't think that they're going to monopolize that asset in that way. I think that their ethos is much more to support the acceleration of the overall economy in humanity. And so I think that they'll definitely be selling these in a large way to customers outside of the company. And so even if they start with just shipping them internally, all of the technical writing, all of the support, all of the software, all of these things, they're going to have good systems in place just to serve their own needs. That those things, I think they are building with an eye for scale and an eye for how that's going to work once they do begin to ship to people outside the company as well.
Hans, I just got secret footage of what's actually happening in Tesla. We'll play this a bit and see what you're thinking about this.
We designed them to be trusted with our homes, with our way of life, with our world. But did we design them to be trusted?
The rollout of USR's new generation of robot, the NS5, was marred by the death of designer Alfred Lanning.
Identify. Murder's a new trick for a robot. Respond.
He don't murder him!
We're gonna miss the good old days.
What good old days?
When people were killed by other people.
My robots don't kill people. That thing threw somebody out of a window. Is that registering with you?
A robot cannot harm a human being.
And you trust them if you want to.
We look to robots for protection. Imagine the loss of all that we've gained because of an irrational paranoia.
Does thinking you're the last sane man on the face of the earth make you crazy? Because if it does, maybe I am.
Maybe you can be looking in the shadows all the time.
You're on the inside. Help me find out what is wrong with these robots.
Dr. Lanning
Suggested robots might naturally evolve.
I love it. I love it. What do you think? I mean, look at this. This could be happening. This could be happening in Tesla's factory, like a line like this. Can you believe this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's two sides of this. The technology is getting so good so quickly. And I think we're, at the point of having a Cambrian explosion of what is possible, from a physical standpoint and from an intelligence standpoint. And then the other side is that, we have a lot of things that we're going to be scared of. And, what does this mean for human society? I really hope that we can navigate all of that safely and intelligently. And, the more that I learn about just the way that human progress actually operates, I think that free markets are an incredibly important component of that. I think selling these to customers and having the customer feedback loop in how they need to be used, how they need to be improved, how they need to be put to use in order to provide value to humans. I think that's one of the things that constrains them and keeps this whole scenario from getting so overblown and out of whack. And I know that, there are going to be a number of people who would disagree with me on that point. But I think that if you take a large enough view of history, it's kind of an undeniable conclusion. And highly recommend anyone who thinks that I'm way off base in this to go read Matt Ridley's 2 books, The Rational Optimist and then How Innovation Works. Those will give you an incredible education in these areas, and then that basis for rational optimism.
Yeah, the future is here. So there's another job opening that Tesla announced that is very, interesting. So this is Tesla's now hiring engineers to assist with the development of 5G capabilities for the vehicles and Optimus. So this is Tesla, this guy named Pat Relke. Well, you got what it takes to bring vehicle and Optimus cellular connectivity to the next level. I'm looking for an ace engineer to build a seamless private 5G service in between Tesla's products and our private 5G infrastructure. Pushing low latencies and data rates to the limit is guaranteed. This role will be based on Tesla's Palo Alto engineering headquarters. So, cellular systems integration engineer, vehicle and Optimus. Again, this is one of the things that Tesla has that few people have, right? They have the ability to, they have a vehicle program. They need cellular for the vehicle program. They're already doing it for them. And now they're going to just expand it for Optimus. Other companies, they would need to create a whole new division to build from scratch a cellular or partner with somebody. And again, it's just not going to be exactly the same of what you actually need. What do you think is happening here?
Yeah, I think this is definitely driven by the nature of the way that we're building these systems right now, that with, they're all built on machine learning. They're all built on AI, and we're training these systems based on huge amounts of data. And so in order to find the data that we need, you have to have a large number of devices in the real world. So for Tesla, it's going to be Optimus robots over the long term, but also, right now we've already got this entire fleet of vehicles. And so once you have these devices that are operating in the real world that can collect your data, that's kind of like your query system that allows you to find the data that you need in order to train your system. But then once you find the data, you've obviously got to get that data from wherever it was generated in the real world to where you're doing your actual training compute run. And so that's where your 5G is going to be enabled. You don't really want to have to take these vehicles off of the road and plug them into an Ethernet cable, or right now all of these things are probably running on 4G LTE, so they have this wireless connectivity, but they're limited in their ability to download data at the speeds that they would like to in order to operate all of this training at the level that they want to. And so this is just another step in building out an increased capability in their data pipeline to be able to pull data back into training. And then on the flip side, also to be able to download software, directly to the new or the devices quickly and easily as well. This is a two-way street, and it does actually make it possible to, the faster the data rates that you have, the more that if you need to have some sort of complicated setup where you're not running the entirety of the software on the device, but you're actually offloading some of the complexity of whatever task it is that you're doing into the cloud, having a higher bandwidth wireless connection improves your ability to do those types of things as well. So, and as we move into the future, 5G is going to be more and more the infrastructure that we have. And so, there's elements of future proofing, there's elements of increasing capabilities. It's beneficial, on the back end of what Tesla's doing for developing the core technology in the first place. Then also their ability to provide more and more interesting and complex software to end users as well.
Yeah, okay. So this is embodied AI. These are the bots that need to have the video cameras and learn and feeding those video cameras back up and collecting all of that. That's why I think they need the 5G and these bots, right? And goes back to our original conversation of why people might be shocked that there will be more bots created faster than you realize. The reason why Tesla might want to do 1,000 bots now, like next year versus waiting 2 years, or just trying to accelerate it, is because 1,000 bots in the field will all feed each other, and the videos that they get, and when one bot learns a task, then all the bots learn that task, and it's just going to be exponential how quickly they'll learn all sorts of tasks. But they need to have the video combined with the tactile feeling. So embodied AI is so critical, and I think more and more scientists are now leaning towards this idea that you need embodied AI to be able to get to true AGI. Like it's like incredibly intelligent that comes out of emergent properties that come out of these bots, because it touches things, it feels things, it knows when you say this is what an apple is, and it could feel it. It may be able to taste it. You never know in the future. But anyway, so I mean, I've always wondered, how are the bots going to be able to take the videos, as many videos as the cars do, right? So they need to produce as many of these vehicles or units, and then take all that video and then start to, make sense of that. So this is what's for, I think. Yeah,
Absolutely. That it's a big part of that. We are making major advances in the way that we train these artificial intelligence systems. And so I think that, every year that we progress into the future, we're actually going to need less and less data to accomplish the same levels of functionality. So that's kind of a cool, effect that we have working for us as well. So, I think that we can achieve some pretty incredible things with Optimus that take us less time and less data and less compute than it took us to figure those out the first time around for FSD. But that said, the number of different things that we're going to ask Optimus to do is going to be like orders of magnitude more and more complicated if you look across the whole range of things than what we're asking FSD to do. And so, if you can get 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times the capability from an Optimus system than you're getting from an FSD vehicle, but you can do that with roughly the same, or maybe only 2 or 3 times the amount of data, 2 or 3 times the amount of compute. That's a huge win overall, and that's what they're aiming for with Optimus. They are trying to over the long term, deliver a level of capability, functionality, intelligence that is going to make FSD look like small potatoes.
That's good. Okay, let's not go there yet. FSD is not small potatoes, but yeah, I'm all in on humanoid bots. I think this is great. It's just wonderful. Tesla is not only doing energy, which we just did a show on, we did a show on FSD progress, and now it's the bots as well. So if you look at the hiring, that's what's critical. They're hiring technical writers. They're hiring, 5G. They're hiring software to test out, and looking for bugs and issues, issue tracking, and then they're hiring somebody who's going to actually do pilots already in the manufacturing, the gigafactories. And so, that means that's where they're headed. And it's good news that we heard about the hirings now than waiting, let's say, 6 months or a year from now, right?
Mhm.
So let's put that perspective in place, as opposed to just saying, well, just because they're hired now doesn't mean it's going to roll out next year. No, but it means that it's going to roll out sooner than you ever thought it will. So thank you so much, Hans. This is a lot of fun. We'll keep track of the job postings. Any final thoughts on this?
I mean, last year when people were getting excited about the possibility of thousands of bots by the end of 2023, I was pretty skeptical. I think at this point in time, though, I think that 2024, December of 2024, really summer of 2025 at the latest, I think that, thousands of bots is not only possible, but likely. I think that we are at that stage in the development of the product of Optimus. And so I'm excited to see, that level of, the demos that we're going to see when they have that number of robots out there. It's going to be super fun. Watching the development of this product is extremely exciting. And I think that we're entering into, the beginnings of a golden age of humanoid robotics. And it's just fascinating to, like Elon said, it's a Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. And we certainly do live in interesting times, but would you really want to live at any other point? I don't know. I mean, I'm scared, but I'm excited. And I think that for better or for worse, the things that we're going to witness in our lifetime are going to be mind-blowing.
That's what the issue is with the 5G cellular connectivity, because Elon has said that we cannot let some bad actor take control and then feed it with new malware and software to then say, this is my bot army, I'm going to take it over. It needs to be able to be controlled locally. And so that there's you got connectivity, that's great, all the stuff we talked about, but it's got to be something you got to be controlled. Otherwise, bad things can happen easily. Oh, this is fun. Thank you so much, Hans. Follow him on his YouTube channel and on X at Hans C. Nelson. Thanks, Hans. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.